Well, today's crash is only the latest in an alarming series of incidents involving Egyptair. In March, a man with fake explosives, as Alex mentioned, hijacked an Egyptair flight. Thankfully, no one was hurt. And back in October, a Russian jetliner took off from an Egyptian airport and then exploded, killing 224 people on board. ISIS claimed responsibility. Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues has more on the country's troubled history.
When Egyptair Flight 181 was hijacked in March, many assumed the motive of Saif Eldin Mustafa was terrorism. Claiming to be wearing an explosive vest, the 59-year-old demanded the domestic Cairo-bound flight divert to Cyprus. In a standoff on the tarmac, it was discovered Mustafa's interests were personal. He was arrested and no one was hurt. The incident renewed security concerns at Egyptian airports following the crash of a Metrojet flight in October. The Russian passenger plane disintegrated over the Sinai Desert after departing from the Egyptian resort town of Sharm el-Sheikh en route to St. Petersburg. All 224 people on board were killed. ISIS soon claimed responsibility for the apparent bomb attack. In 1985, one of the deadliest hijackings in history was on Egyptair Flight 648. After departing Athens for Cairo, heavily armed terrorists describing themselves as members of Egypt's revolution forced the plane to land in Malta. On the ground, Egyptian troops raided the aircraft in a move that has since been criticized. At least 58 people on board were killed. 14 years later, Egyptair Flight 990 crashed off the coast of Nantucket shortly after taking off from New York. All 217 people on board died. The National Transportation Safety Board indicated the pilot brought down the plane intentionally, something Egyptian authorities have disputed, instead blaming mechanical error.
And CBS Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues joins us. Jeff, tell me, what are you hearing? Is there any more updates?
Well, U.S. government officials are gathering more information. An official that I spoke with said it is too early to jump to any conclusions here until you actually find the debris and examine the debris. But obviously there is some discussion about the fact that maybe this was an explosive that brought down this plane. However, the official that I spoke with says there's no indication right now either way, so it's really too early to say for sure. That said, the U.S. government, law enforcement, and intel agencies are ready and prepared to assist. They are willing to share information as soon as they get it. But what I've been told by my sources is that there's nothing right now, no public comment or boasting that you often hear from groups like ISIS claiming responsibility for something like this. But that is something that they are looking for.
Jeff, walk us through it. When U.S. officials send resources abroad to look into an investigation like this, how does this go down?
Well, it's an offer to assist, and we've seen that pattern. We saw it with Metrojet last year, where there was this offer from law enforcement and intel agencies to assist with the investigation. It was the Russians, really, that took control of that one. But there have been incidents in Somalia with laptop bomb attempts. And so the FBI often offers its services. It is very good evidence technicians teams, dive teams, so they have the capabilities to assist. And then there is this sense from U.S. law enforcement that they want to know what happened here, so there can be, if there has to be, an adjustment to security here in the States. So there is great interest in what happened to this plane on the part of U.S. intelligence and U.S. law enforcement officials.
3 different incidences involving Egyptian airspace, Jeff, just in the past 8 to 9 months. Are Homeland officials telling you anything? Should Americans be concerned about traveling to the Middle East right now?
Well, there is no discussion of that at this point, but there is obviously a pattern here, and it's something that U.S. officials, for one, have been aware of for some time. You have these recent incidents over the last year in Egypt, in Europe, obviously. There is a lot of focus today on Egypt, but there is also, on the part of law enforcement, some focus on airport security in Paris as well, because that has been an issue after the Paris attacks as well as after the Brussels attacks. So there are several factors at play here, but U.S. intelligence, U.S. law enforcement is paying close attention.
Jeff Pegues in Washington. Jeff, thank you so much.